And a very good morning, afternoon, depending on what time zone you happen to be listening. We're coming to you live on the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Chris Psrdo. Thank you very much for listening, or perhaps you're listening to us live on one of the major podcast platforms such as Apple Podcast or over there at Google Podcast. We're all over on most of the major podcasts anyway. Spotify, especially. Yes, very big on Spotify. So thank you very much again for listening. Like I said, we're coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're on the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network. We're on Blackjack TV back on the East Coast. We're also on milehighradio.com as well. So that's the story. So today we have not really all that much to talk about. Usually the same general subjects as we normally do from day to day now that we're in the baseball season. We're going to be talking about baseball. We have 3 games on tap to talk about for you today. Going to take a look at the line movement on those games and kind of get an idea as to which direction the pros are going as well. We got Arizona against St. Louis. We got the Angels against the New York Yankees once again, the Seattle against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we also have 2 games we talked about yesterday as far as winning and losing streaks are concerned. That's Kansas City and the Brewers. So we'll be talking about those as well. No basketball on tap for today as far as us talking about anything because nothing that the pros seem to like about the game that's coming up. So there's no absolute idea as to which direction they're going to go. Doesn't mean it won't happen later on in the day, but up until this point in time, there isn't. We just have some baseball for you, and that's basically going to be the topic for today. So once again, thanks for listening. We love to hear from you. We got an email address that you can send your information to. You can send it to the Sports Wagering Zone at gmail.com. The Sports Wagering Zone at gmail.com. Like I said, we've been doing a show for over 5 years, and we're kind of like we're in a bubble. We've been doing pretty much the same thing time and time again. We have tweaked it here and there, and we keep thinking if it's doing fine, why change it? However, if there's something that we're not aware of that perhaps you may have noticed, maybe we talk too much about a certain subject, not enough about another, just let us know so that we can make that adjustment so that everyone can be happy. So that's the story there. And also, we're talking about our little newsletter that we've been working on. Hopefully, we'll have it ready for you before the NFL season starts. I'm sure if we do it, that's the time when we'll have it ready for you. We're trying to piece things together, see if we have enough interest in it. So if you have any interest in the newsletter, let us know, because we need to know how many people are going to be involved in this. If it's not going to be many, then there's no sense in getting up earlier in the morning and getting all those stats out to you earlier. So we'll keep you up to date on it as well. So if you have any interest whatsoever, send an email to that same address, the Sports Wagering Zone at gmail.com. And you don't have to be, to write a long list of things. Just say, hey, I'm interested in it. We'll get back to you when we get things kind of put together. So that's the story there. So normally what we do at this time of day is we take a look at what happened yesterday. Again, today is Wednesday, so it's what we call hump day here at the show. So let's look at the 3 sports for yesterday and what happened as far as their results and betting are concerned. The National Hockey League Game 2, Montreal at Tampa Bay. That's going to be on for tonight. There was no games yesterday. Today is game 2. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time in case you're interested in watching. Meanwhile, in the NBA, big upset. The Hawks, 9-point dogs, 3-3-1, plus $331 on the money line. That's huge. Big big hit if you took that risk on the Hawks. They routed the Bucks 110-88, wasn't even close. Trae Young wasn't even in the game, so that's why most of the betting, whether it was done by the pros or whether it was done by the general public, all went on to the Bucks because of the reason that we just gave you. Trae Young was a questionable to play the game, and obviously he didn't play, but in spite of that, they still won, and they won pretty big. So the conference finals are now tied at 2-2. The total stayed under once again, 215. That was the over-under as far as the total points were concerned. Now, the favorites still lead 47-28 straight up, but only 42-32 against the spread. That's at 57.5% overall. The home teams are 42-34 straight up, but they're 39-36 against the spread, which kind of puts them at 51.5%. The unders are at 39-35. So that's the story with the NBA. Of course, if you had the Hawks, congratulations, you did very, very well if you were on the money line. Now, if you just bet them regularly, you did okay too. But if you had them on the money line, plus 331, wow, that's a nice number to get through. Meanwhile, in Major League Baseball, the favorites, they went 10-3 with the Marlins and the Phillies closing as a pick'em. The upsets were by the Orioles, who are at a plus 265 on the money line against the Astros. The Rangers are plus 175 against the A's, and the Mets are plus 145 against the Braves. The favorites still lead, however. They're at 58.5% on the season so far. The unders yesterday went 8-6, and the overs still have a slight lead, 573-563, which is just a notch over 50%. So that's a roundup of what happened yesterday as far as betting is concerned in the three major sports. And when we come back, we're going to take our first break, and we're going to talk about three games on tap for tonight, kind of give you an idea as to which direction the pros are going in those games. Arizona against the St. Louis Cardinals. You got the Angels against New York once again. Seattle against Toronto. This is like the third day in a row that the pros are looking at the Angels-Yankees games, or even the Yankees when they were playing the Red Sox as well. So we'll kind of give you an idea as to which direction they're thinking for today's game. So that's the story. We'll be back into the sports wagering zone in about 1 minute, because generally we do three commercials during the breaks, three breaks, one commercial for each break, I'm sorry, and each one is of about 1 minute duration. So we'll be back in 60 seconds. And welcome back. You're back in the sports wagering zone. I'm Chris Psrdo. Thank you very much for listening. Of course, we're coming to you on the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as podcasting on most of your podcast platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we are there. So thank you very much for listening. And just a reminder, the big weekend is coming up. You got the 4th of July weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm going to be making a trip over to Colorado, into Denver, to visit with my grandson, who's going to be in the state championship as far as baseball is concerned for the 13 and 14-year-olds. So I'll be broadcasting from Colorado. And of course, just to let you know that we will be on the air Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So this way you'll know that we're still going to be there. We'll be there to help you. So they're going to be kind of abbreviated shows to a certain degree, in that all we're really going to talk about are the games that are on tap for those particular days, kind of give you an update as to which direction the pros are going, the line movement, and things of that nature. But we will be there for you. So if you're interested, we'll be here Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at our regularly scheduled time. So once again, let's take a look and see what's going on as far as baseball is concerned. For today, we have 3 games on tap for today. 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Arizona Diamondbacks, St. Louis Cardinals. Diamondbacks, 22-59. The Cardinals, 39-41. Now, the Cardinals took the first 2 games. They won the opener 7-1. They were minus 165 as home favorites on the money line. And then they won again last night, 3-2, a little closer. They were a minus 160 home favorite on the money line. Now, this afternoon's final game, the Diamondbacks come out with their righty, Riley Smith. He's 1-3. They have a 5.71 ERA. And the Cardinals come back with their lefty, Kwang Hyun Kim. He's 1-5 with a 3.98 ERA. Now, as we look at the line for this game, of course, it opened with the Cardinals listed as a minus 180 home favorite on the money line. Arizona, a plus 165 as a road dog. Now, the pros have really gotten down on the Cardinals to kind of finish off the 3 games and take a sweep in this series. They steamed St. Louis up from minus 180 to minus 200 on the money line, and we've seen some books even going as high as 205. Now, keep this in mind. Any teams that get a 15 cents or more steam are coming off a win as well. Though a team that fits that analytical category is at 65% this season. Also, home favorites that are minus 200 on the money line or more, they're at 74% as far as that's concerned as a win percentage. Once again, more non-division home favorites are at 63%. So those are the analytical stats that point towards the St. Louis Cardinals as well. But keep one thing in mind. You're minus 200, minus 205. If you like the Cardinals or you kind of think that's the way it's going to go, you're going to be laying some heavy wood to try to prove your point. Now, Arizona, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball so far this season. There's no doubt about it. They're just 10-35. Arizona is just 4-16 against lefties. They've only won 4 games, lost 16 games up against lefties. St. Louis, in the meantime, is 22-15 as a favorite. And, of course, the Diamondbacks are at 16-51 as a dog so far this season. So in the game between Arizona and St. Louis, the pros and the general public on the St. Louis Cardinals. But like we said, get ready to lay a lot of wood if you like the Cardinals. Meanwhile, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, you get the Los Angeles Angels, who are 38-41. Once again, still visiting the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium, who are 41-38. Now, keep in mind that these are non-divisional teams. They split the first 2 games of the series. Angels won that first game 5-3. They were plus 145 on the money line as a road dog. And then the Yankees came back with that 11-5 win yesterday. They came in as a minus 150 home favorite. We're talking about, well, are they going to lose 5 in a row? Obviously, they didn't. They lost 4 in a row, came back and won yesterday. Now, in tonight's final game, the Angels come back with their 2-way stud, Shohei Ohtani. He's 3-1 so far this season with a 2.58 ERA. And the Yankees, they come in with Domingo Germán. He's 4-5 with a 4.32 ERA. So, taking a close look at this line, opened with the Yankees. A small minus 120 home favorite. Los Angeles, a plus 110 road dog. Now, the general public, they're going crazy over Ohtani, that's for sure, like the second coming of Babe Ruth. And the Angels, that's the team they happen to like, and taking that plus money as a dog. However, the pros are fading that trendy dog, and they're getting down on the contrarian favorite, New York Yankees. It drove the total up from being a minus 120 up to minus 125 on the morning line. Keep one thing in mind. Short home favorites, minus 135 or less, who are coming off a win. That's what the Yankees are in this game. They're at 59% as a win percentage for this whole season. Now, non-division home favorites are also at 63% as well. So in this game, you've got the Yankees against the Angels. The pros are on the Yankees. The general public, and I can see why, with Ohtani pitching for the Angels, they love Ohtani, they love the Angels. The first game we looked at was St. Louis against the Diamondbacks. In that particular game, the pros and the general public, everybody is on the Cardinals against probably the worst team in baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we're going to take our second break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the Seattle Mariners against the Toronto Blue Jays in that series. So we're going to talk about that game, give you an idea as to the direction of the line movement, and is also trying to determine who the pros are going on in that game. And we're also going to be talking about the winning and losing streaks, kind of give you an update on those games that are coming up as well. So in the meantime, let's take our second break. And like always, we will be back right after these messages. And welcome back. Here we go again. Segment number 2 of the Sports Wagering Zone, coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina, right here on the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as podcasting on most of your podcast channels, such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. We're on most of the major platforms as well. And just a reminder, This Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we will be here over the holiday. We're going to be doing the show from Denver, Colorado, but we're going to bring you up to date as to whatever line movements are available so that if you're looking for some help in your handicapping for that weekend, rest assured that we're here to help you out as much as we can. So in case you just joined in and you missed the first part of the show, we talked about 2 games on tap for today as far as baseball is concerned. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. In that game, the pros and the general public and all the analytics point to the St. Louis Cardinals. They're at a minus 200 plus on the money line. So if you kind of like them, be prepared to lay some wood on that game. Also, the Los Angeles Angels, once again, playing the New York Yankees. Shohei Ohtani is going to be pitching for the Angels, and because of that, most of the general public is on the Angels. Meanwhile, the pros and the analytics are on the New York Yankees. Understand, the Angels, even though Ohtani is pitching, they're still the slight underdog in that game. The Yankees are the favorites. Now, one more game to talk about, and that's at 7 o'clock tonight. Eastern time, of course. The Seattle Mariners, 41-39, playing the Toronto Blue Jays. They're down in Florida, 41-36. Now, the Jays kind of took care of business yesterday, okay? They beat the Mariners 9-3. They were at minus 225 as home favorites. And, of course, was one of the games that the line movement was in their direction. The pros liked them. The general public liked them. Everybody liked them. But again, we cautioned you yesterday that you're going to have to be laying some heavy wood. So they finally went off as high as 225 on the money line on the minus side. But they did win. Now, Toronto's red hot. They're now 8-1 over their last 9 games. And they just got George Springer back. He's coming back into the lineup. So in tonight's rematch, Seattle comes in with their lefty, Justice Sheffield. He's 5-1 with a 5.69 ERA. Toronto comes back with their lefty, Steven Matz. He's 7-3 this season with a 4.26 ERA. So looking at the line for tonight's game, it opened with the Jays as a minus 180 home favorite, and the Mariners opened up as a plus 165 as a road dog. Now, the pros and the general public, once again, they come in heavy on Toronto, driving that lineup on the Jays from that minus 180 up to minus 200 on the money line, and it's climbing as well. Now, keep one thing in mind. Home favorites, minus 200 or more, are at 74% this season. So even though you're laying heavy wood, if you had been playing them all season long, you would have had a win percentage of 74%. Now, non-division home teams receiving 10 cents of steam or more are at 65% this season. And again, Toronto once again is going to be going and leaning on their big advantage as having a great hitting team as well. The Jays are batting .266. They're the number 2 team in Major League Baseball as far as batting percentage is going. The Mariners, they're dead last. They're .217 batting as a team. So you can see why all the interest, why everyone seems to be on the Toronto Blue Jays in this game against Seattle. So once again, just recapping the 3 games for today. Cardinals against Arizona, pros and the general public are on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Angels against the New York Yankees, the general public is on the underdog Angels. Meanwhile, the pros are on the New York Yankees, who are a slight favorite in this game, besides the fact that Ohtani is pitching for the Angels. Now, at 7 o'clock, you got the Mariners against the Blue Jays. In that particular game, the general public and, of course, the pros, everybody you can talk to is on the Toronto Blue Jays. So once again, you're going to have to lay some heavy wood in that game, as well as the St. Louis Cardinal game as well, if you think they're going to win. But remember, 200 and above on the money line on the minus side, over 74% so far as a win percentage this season. So you've got that going for you as well. Now, looking at yesterday, we had two games that we watched the money line and we watched where the pros are going. They were on the Angels against the Yankees. However, the Yankees bounced back after losing 4 in a row and won their game. But they had Seattle and Toronto. They had Toronto in that game. So yesterday it was a 50-50 situation. The Angels on that game, that was a loss, and a win on the Toronto game. So that was 50-50. So far, as far as this little method, this little system, whatever you want to call it, has been going, we're well over 54% as far as a win percentage is concerned. Meanwhile, as we take a look at the winning and losing, in fact, let's hold on to that because let's get that third break out of the way. When we come back, we're going to talk about the winning and losing streaks on the two games for yesterday and how they look for today, and if there's any new ones that we need to put in. And also, we're going to bring you up to date once again as to what the games are on tap for today. So let's get that last break. Let's get it out of the way, and we'll be back in 1 minute. And welcome back. Here we go again. Segment 3, the final segment on the Sports Wagering Zone, coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. So we talked about the three games on tap for today as far as which direction the pros are going and the line movement. We also have been following the winning and losing streaks. We've been kind of watching that. A couple listeners, not more than a couple, a little more than a couple, a few listeners had sent us an email about 2 weeks ago or so and said, hey, how about streaks? How are streaks doing? I'm watching the streaks. Looks like this is going, that's going. Would you look into it? So that's what we're doing. So we're going to follow it for a while, but understand something about streaks. You have to determine what a streak is. Here at the show, we look at 6 games, whether a team wins or loses 6 games. That is the beginning of a streak as far as we're concerned. Now, you may look at it and say, nah, I think 8 should be the number, or maybe 10, or some other number, whatever it is that you want, or maybe you don't want to be involved in it whatsoever. So just to give you an idea of what's been going on. Yesterday, there were 2 games that fit into these categories. Kansas City against the Red Sox. Kansas City was on a 6-game losing streak. They lost the game. So today, against the Red Sox once again, Kansas City is now in a 7-game losing streak. Meanwhile, on the other end, on the winning side, the Cubs and Milwaukee going into yesterday's game against the Cubs was a 6-game winning streak team. Now, going into today, they're up against the Cubs once again, but they are now a 7-game winning streak. That's what they've got. So you've got Kansas City, 7-game losing streak. The Brewers, 7-game winning streak. So what do you do with that? Well, again, it's up to you. If you think Kansas City's ready to bust out, you bet on Kansas City. If you think they're still going to continue to lose, you switch over and you bet on the Red Sox. With the Cubs and the Brewers, the same thing fits into play. 7-game winning streak. You may think, 7, I think that's it for them. So bet on the Cubs. If you think they're going to continue to win, stay with the Brewers. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll let you know how that's going. And keep in mind that once one of those teams either breaks their losing or winning streak, they fall into that category of the swagger theory. But we'll let you know if that happens when they break out of these little streaks that we've been talking about. But again, you have to decide what is a streak. We think it's 6. You may think it's 8 or more. If you think as well the way we think about it, then of course 2 teams are in a streak right now. Kansas City, 7-game losing streak. Brewers, 7-game winning streak. So that's the story as far as streaks are concerned. And again, the 3 games on tap for today, we have the St. Louis Cardinals against the Arizona Diamondbacks, the pros and the general public, everybody. They're on the St. Louis Cardinals. Be prepared, if you like the Cardinals, to lay a minus 200 plus on the money line. As far as the Yankees and the Angels are concerned, the general public, they're on the Los Angeles Angels, who, by the way, are the underdog in this game, a slight underdog, but they are. The New York Yankees are the favorite in this game, but they're the favorite, and only ones who really think they should be played are the pros. General public on the Angels, because Ohtani is pitching, of course, and the pros are on the New York Yankees in this game. Meanwhile, Seattle against Toronto, once again, everybody and his brother are on the Toronto Blue Jays. So once again, if you like Toronto, you're going to be laying some heavy, heavy wood, well over 200 as well. So that's the story on the 3 games for tonight. We talked about the 2 games as far as the winning and losing streaks are concerned. Kansas City is in a 7-game losing streak. The Brewers have a 7-game winning streak going. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So once again, thank you very much for listening. Just a reminder, this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4th of July holiday, the show will be on. We'll be broadcasting from Denver, Colorado, going out there to watch my grandson in the state championships for 13 and 14-year-olds. So I'll be coming to you live from there, the I-95 network, as well as the podcast platforms as well. So we covered the 3 games for today. I hope you have a very pleasant Wednesday. It's a hump day. We're getting ready to get into the weekend, a long weekend. Hopefully it'll be a good, fun weekend for most of us. But even more so than that, I hope it's going to be a profitable weekend as well. So enjoy Wednesday. Have a great day. If you're going to be doing any betting today, I certainly hope you come out on top. That's the whole general idea of the show. We want to do everything we can to make you a better handicapper, therefore making you a more of a winner when it comes to betting on sports. So we'll be back again tomorrow, once again, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time, right here on the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as most of your major podcast platforms, such as Spotify, Apple, and more and more and more. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a pleasant Wednesday. And of course, more so than that, also have a profitable Wednesday as well. Goodbye, everybody.